Merchant Doctor here with your bank card broker's processing point. This is part 3 of our series on how to determine the true cost of your merchant services so that you can understand whether or not you're getting a good deal. Now, in the first part of our series, we looked at interchange. Now, we determined that interchange is the absolute bottom line cost that your credit card processor has to pay back out to the card issuing banks as well as the card brands. Now, since every single credit card processor has the exact same cost, they've come up with a lot of creative billing methods. And that's what we looked at in part 2. We looked at all the different billing methods that a credit card processor could use to hide their profits from you and make their deal look better than the next guy's. Well, today we boiled it down to the 2 most common and 2 really only truly legitimate billing methods that a credit card processor should use for your merchant services. We're going to dive into those a little bit deeper and discover exactly which one you need to insist upon so that you can get the most out of your merchant services as well as the best deal. Now, the first pricing method we're going to take a look at is called tiered pricing, otherwise known as bucket pricing. We're going to keep this a very simplified 10,000 foot view, if you will. Otherwise, we could talk for hours about it, which I'm sure you don't want to do. Now, with a tiered pricing quote, basically what the credit card processor is doing is taking those hundreds of different card types that are contained within the interchange system and cramming them into different tiers or buckets. So a quote on a tiered rate pricing might sound something like your qualified rate is 1.69, your mid-qualified rate is 2.25%, and your non-qualified rate is 3.1%, let's say. Now that sounds simple and great because it's something you can understand. You know you're going to pay one of 3 prices for any transaction that comes through your door, which is exactly why it was designed that way. Now, the main problem with tiered pricing is that it's absolutely impossible to compare one credit card processor's proposal with another one. And that's because each processor is allowed to select which card types fall into which buckets. So if you were able to take 2 proposals and duplicate your business and do the exact same volume and card types through each of those proposals, you would actually end up paying hundreds of dollars more with processor B versus processor A. Well, how's that possible if their rates are exactly the same? Basically, processor A has allotted a lot more card types into the qualified bucket, while processor B limited his qualified bucket to very, very few card types, which meant that most of your transactions were falling into the mid and non-category. Now, that is the main problem with tiered rate pricing. You never really know where you stand. You never know if you're getting a good deal, and you definitely cannot compare one proposal to another because you don't know what card types are falling into each of those buckets. So how does Interchange Plus pricing work? Let's take a look at that. To explain it, let's say that you're going out and you need to buy some new clothes. So you walk into a clothing store, and right when you walk in the door, something strikes you as odd. There's a giant banner overhead that says everything in the store is $5 above cost. So it doesn't matter if you buy a $3 pair of socks or a $100 pair of jeans, whatever it is, you're going to pay $5 above their cost. Now, would that kind of store entice you or maybe make you think that you're not paying too much for your clothing? Yeah, sure it would. It would make you feel comfortable because you know they're not getting a piece of clothing and marking it up 1,000%. They're marking it up $5. Sounds fair to me. Interchange Plus pricing works exactly the same way. So the cost of interchange for any transaction is passed directly through to you, the merchant, and then your credit card processor is going to mark up interchange by a number of basis points. Now, very common markup is 40 basis points, which is 0.4%. So for any transaction, no matter what card type it is, it could be a regulated debit card whose interchange cost is 0.05%, or it could be a corporate rewards card, which is well over 3%. Well, you're going to pay whatever the interchange cost is plus 0.4% for your processor's services. Pretty simple, right? This is why Interchange Plus pricing is the exact best method for your business, because it allows you to very comprehensively compare one proposal to another, as well as know that you're never paying too much for any one transaction. You pay the exact same markup every single time. This is why Bank Card Brokers is a huge proponent of true Interchange Plus pricing. Well, this has been the Merchant Doctor with your Bank Card Broker's processing point. I hope you've enjoyed this simplified view of what the true cost of your credit card processing is and helped you understand whether or not you're getting a good deal or if it's time to start shopping for a new processor. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. We'd love to answer them. And until the next time, jump on over to Facebook, Google+, Twitter, LinkedIn. Make sure to follow Bank Card Brokers so you can stay on top of the industry's latest news and technology that's going to help your business thrive. We look forward to hearing from you.